Readers Entertainment Radio presents Booklights with your host, author Lisa Kessler. Booklights, where we're shining a light on good books.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're tuning in today. It's our final week of February, which has been devoted to all love and romance. And we are finishing off the month strong with romance author Maria Jane. And if you haven't read her books yet, you are in for a treat. I will read her bio here so that you can get to know her. She's already got a few books out, and it appears there's rapid release. We will ask her more about that in a minute. But romance author Maria Jane believes in the power of love. She sees that love may look messy and take a winding path, but there is magic in the journey. Her books are filled with fun moments, sweet gestures, surprising turns, and characters searching for their happily ever after. If you're craving your next HEA or Happy for Now, find all of Maria's perfect romances, formerly writing as Trisha Copeland, and dive into a fun love story. And I did put a link to her website right there in the show notes, so feel free to drop in. There are lots of books in the backlist because Trisha Copeland also writes some dystopian and YA. And anyway, we'll talk a little bit about that too, but mariajaneromance.com will get you there. And without any delay, are you there?
I am. Hi, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so glad to have you back. You have been on before as Trisha Copeland, but now this is your first time as Maria Jane.
It's fun to have those pen names and be different people at different times.
Yeah. Can you tell, most of our listeners are readers, but can you tell them why an author would pick a pen name and kind of shift that way? What was your reason?
Right. Well, writing under the pen name of Trisha Copeland, most of my titles are young adult titles. So they have young adult PG-13 content, and just jumping over to a more like new adult content, it's fade to black or closed door romances. I didn't want people to just automatically, especially like a 13-year-old, to just automatically jump into these books. So creating that new pen name sets them apart a little bit.
Okay. Well, Perfect Office Pact is the one that they can get right now. Do you want to tell everybody a little bit about it and why they should go grab a copy?
Right. So the Perfect Romance series started with Perfect, which will be re-released in April. And really, the whole series revolves around this group of characters who were friends in college. So University of Kentucky, the first book is set in Lexington, and well, all the books that have been released so far are set in Lexington, Kentucky, and it follows each friend from this friend group and their path to happily ever after. In Perfect Office Pact, the main character is Mira. She's a Hispanic character, and the main, I guess, we don't want to call him an antagonist, love interest, quickly becomes Declan, who is her boss. So it's very much an office romance, sort of enemies to lovers. This shouldn't happen, maybe type of romance.
Yeah. It sounds like it's possibly on the taboo spectrum of your boss. And
Mira is the first really morally gray character I've written. So that was an interesting thing for me to do. I won't give too much away, but in the very beginning of the book, Declan was her professor as well, and now is her boss. So 2 points of maybe, she shouldn't be interested in him. And She didn't like him very much, and she thought he hated her. Well, very quickly, he rescues her in a situation, but then becomes what she thinks is obsessed with her and finds out some private information and kind of crosses that line. But then she decides, well, if he's going to cross that line, I'm going to take advantage of this situation. So she kind of turns the tables and, for lack of a better word, uses him a little bit. So a lot of things are happening in this story that maybe shouldn't be happening in this story, or maybe you shouldn't repeat in your real life. I will say
right. Well, we all like to watch messy reality TV, so it's fun to read about it too.
I I think so, but
Where they make voices and you sit there cringing, going, "No, what are you doing?"
What are you doing? Yes. It has some sweet outcomes though, so I will say that.
Yay. All right. Well, when you were writing this, did you have an inspiration for it? Was it watching reality TV? I mean, what was the inspiration for this one?
Well, Declan is a neurodiverse character, so he's identified as being on the autism spectrum. So it was really, I get into diverse ethnic groups. I like writing diverse people. And then I had watched a series on Netflix that I want to say, well, I watched two series on Netflix. One was, oh my goodness, now what is the name? One is the romance one, the reality romance one.
I love that one. Yes.
From Australia originally, I think, and I can't remember the
Spectrum.
Love on the Spectrum. So I watched that one, and there was another Netflix series too that followed a boy in high school and his journey of just trying to fit in with autism, and a very, I guess, high operating person, but and I just entranced with the idea of, hey, what does it look like to fall in love as an adult, as somebody on? So I did a lot of research, and Famira's character kind of picked up my Hispanic background a little bit too. So that's kind of how those two personalities or those two people came into play. And I just had a lot of fun writing it as, two people who might misunderstand each other and not really see, because Declan is not forthcoming about his being on the autism spectrum. He doesn't advertise it, or he's very successful, so he doesn't really talk about it. And so she had to find that out in an interesting way, and they have to kind of work out how they're going to be in this relationship of boss and mine or underling a little bit.
Right. Do you have anybody in your family or friends who are on the spectrum? Is that something that you had somebody you could talk to about it?
I wouldn't say they've identified themselves as that, but I think there's personality traits that we see in people that are like, I think we're all on the spectrum, quite honestly. Like, I can be OCD. I can be like my bed needs to be made every day. So I would say that maybe I have some of those personality traits of someone who, and maybe that's not autistic necessarily, but I think I can identify people who kind of, would rather be more to themselves than be out in the world all the time, right? So.
Right. Well, sometimes the world can be really loud, it's a lot. So I totally get it. When you're writing, are you a plotter, or do you kind of let the characters guide it? Were there surprises when you were writing it?
There is always surprises when I'm writing. I have major plot points. Like, I know where the book wants to end. I know like certain things that I usually think in the beginning are going to be sort of the climax, but it always surprises me where these characters go, because there was a few characters that came into the book that I would have never dreamed when I started the story, and it made it, I think it enriches the characters, because they not only have their romantic lives, but they have other relationships and other people in their lives. So,
no, nice. Well, since it sounds like, they surprise you, did you have a favorite scene along the way that you felt like in this book where you felt like, yeah, this is why I wanted to write this book? Without spoilers, but.
Right. There are so many favorite scenes in this that are just, even the scenes that are kind of cringy negative. I think for me, any scene that evokes any emotion, whether you're pissed off or you're sad or you think, oh, that's so sweet. So there are definitely several in there, and pretty quick into the book, that you're like, oh. So I always love writing those and like to amp up the drama in those.
Yeah. Well, when you're writing romance versus the like dystopian type things, do you have a different mindset you have to go into? Do you listen to different playlists? How do you make that shift to being romantic as opposed to the whole world's on fire?
It's actually a respite for me because what I usually do is I'll write a fantasy or a dystopian and then have this horrible hangover from all these things that my characters experienced. And so writing a sweet romance is very fun for me because I get to write a book where the worst thing that can happen is somebody's going to break up with you, right?
Right.
Um, and yeah, so they're fun romances. They're meant to be light and they're meant to lift your spirits. And that's what it does for me. It kind of gives me this mental reset so that I can go out into the world a little more positive and lose that bit of character hangover.
Right, right. So do you alternate usually? You write a fantasy and then a romance, or how does that work?
Yeah, yes, I do. So, and plus that it enables me to keep both series going so that my fantasy people aren't, wait, what's happening? When's my next book? And then my romance people kind of get the same experience. So I shoot for that.
Oh, nice. Do you think you have much crossover between the people who read both?
I definitely do. Yeah. So there's a lot of people on my reading list that, and my ARC readers tend to be the same readers and they like both genres. But then I definitely have on my email subscriber list a list that's like fantasy and a list that's romance. And not everybody crosses over, but there is some definitely.
Nice. Well, what are you working on next? Because when I was poking around getting ready for today, I saw that you're kind of rapid releasing these perfect books. Is the whole series already written or will there be more?
So right now there's 5 in the series. So I'll go back and tell the story. So when I first started writing the series, I was writing under the pen name Trisha Copeland. So Perfect and Perfect Always were released under that pen name. And then I said, oh, I really want to set this apart with the Maria Jane pen name. So I'm going back and re-releasing Perfect and Perfect Always with a little bit updated covers under the pen name Maria Jane. So Perfect will re-release in April. Perfect Always re-releases in May. And then the newest book, Perfect Secrets, releases in June. So Perfect Secrets is the new one that hasn't been, no, never been read before.
Oh, yay. Okay.
Except by a couple of beta readers and to be some ARC readers. But yeah, so that one kind of continues a series with the Elle is the next character whose story gets told. And that was a lot of fun too, because I set it in Denver, which is where I live now. So I got to kind of bring them out of Kentucky a little bit.
Oh, yay. Did you used to live in Kentucky? Is that why they're set there?
I didn't. And somebody asked me this question the other day, and I was like, I don't even remember why I picked Kentucky, but I've always wanted to go there because it just seems like the rolling hills and the horses, and maybe I've romanticized it way too much. But right. And it's I mean, it's not small town, but it's not like big city New York. So I kind of like that feel too.
Okay. Well, how many books will be in the series, do you think? Or is Perfect Secrets the last one?
No, we're going to keep going. I already have the next one that features Danny started. So I'm like third of the way through that book. The way this whole series started was with a short story that I wrote, and it was a college romance. And if you sign up for my newsletter, you can get that one free, but it's with Mina and Connor, and they are at the University of Texas, and they have like a little romance meetup. And so that's how this started. But then, at some point, I have to come back to Mina and Connor's story. But Mina and Connor, or Mina does show up in Perfect Office Packs. So I'm weaving them in. I'm going to get you there eventually, but I haven't figured out what their happily ever after is yet. So until I do, then you're just going to see the happily ever after for all these other friends.
Okay. Do you have do you have different tropes for each book, romance tropes?
There has been, yes. So Perfect and Perfect, well, Perfect was a different type of story. So there's 5 parts in Perfect that follows one girl, Chloe, and she's an Asian American. raised by a single mom, and in each different part, it shows a different version of her life depending on what choices she makes. So in the beginning, she says yes to her high school sweetheart. And then in part 2, she's like, I don't know, maybe this high school sweetheart's holding me back. So I'm going to go for the college hoopster guy. And then so it goes along, and she has like several different love interests that she says I do or yes to when they propose to her, depending on where her life takes us. And it was sort of meant to show that, in any version of your life with different decisions or different paths taken, that you could probably find your person and have your happily ever after. But then in Perfect Always, I thought, I'm going to show like what really happened to Chloe. Right. So they're both about Chloe and her romance adventure. And I will call that one, I don't want to give too much away, but that was just a sweet romance. She goes off and she has a big life, and then she makes some decisions. It's like, this big life might not have been all that I thought it was going to be. So that was really fun to write her. And then the third book, As Close to Perfect, features Bree, who is an African American or a Black character, and she meets a Latvian American character. So he is definitely multicultural. And that one is more like friends to lovers, I would say. And then Perfect Office Pact, obviously, is the office romance. And then Perfect Secrets, it's, as the title suggests, it takes a little bit more of a darker turn, with some family secrets coming up for both of the characters.
I love that. Do you have any favorite tropes that you go, oh my goodness, because you just enjoy writing them?
Yeah, I think the enemies to lovers is probably one of my more favorite ones. I mean, that comes up in Perfect Office Pact too, where, these characters don't like each other or assume that the other person doesn't like that person. And there's a little bit of contention there. So, and the workplace romance was fun for me too, because that's how I met my husband. So that was fun to think about, like, because we dated for like 3 or 4 months before we told anybody at our workplace that we were dating. And there was this one cringe moment where we're sitting there around, like, getting beers with our workmates, and one of my bosses says, "Oh, he's really hot." And I was sitting there going, "Oh my God, my boss is saying the guy I'm dating is hot." And she's like, I thought it was old at the time. She was like 40, right? And I was like 25, right. But I thought, oh, that's kind of gross. Well, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I have to tell this person because she's continuing to talk about this, and maybe I should clue her in that it's so inappropriate. Hopefully she's not listening to this right now.
Well, we didn't expose your real name, so you'll be fine.
That's true.
But she might be one. Can you tell everybody kind of what your writing journey looked like? Because you actually started out writing fantasy and dystopian, right? Or YA? How did everything progress for you?
Actually, my first series is called the Being Me series, and that's really what started my author career. I started writing a fictionalized account of my experience in overcoming anorexia. So the first 4 books my first 4 books that are the Being Me series, that starts with Is This Me, really followed this girl from her freshman year in college through her senior year in college, and she develops anorexia and how she recovers from that. So that kind of threw me into the author world. I had this huge manuscript, like 160,000 words, and my sister-in-law read it, and she was like, "You have to do something with this." And I had a friend who was indie published and was an editor, and she said, "I can help you with this." And I'm like, "Okay, I could do this." So
few books, or?
I did. That became my first 2 books. I did not know what I was doing. I was not a writer. I did technical writing for my job, but was never a fiction or a creative writer, did not consider myself really creative at all. So it needed a lot of work, needless to say. but then after that, I love reading fantasy. That's usually that and fun romances are my genres of choice. And so I very quickly jumped into wanting to write fantasy, went into YA fantasy with the Kingdom Journals and the Realm Chronicles series. And then, like you said, I go back and forth between writing the romances and my fantasy books.
I love that. Well, what's next? What are you working on? Oh, you said you're working on The Perfect Secrets, right?
So Perfect Secrets will release in June, and I'm working on a little bit of Danny's story, which is the next book in Perfect, but I also have a fantasy that's ruminating, I guess, in my head. I finished the Realm Chronicles series last year, so that the Kingdom Journals and Realm Chronicles series are a crossover series, so it's like finishing a 12-book series here. But I have a number of characters that were from the finale of the Realm Chronicles series in there that can get their own story. So I'm looking at that.
Oh, yay. So will there be potentially like a third series spin-off?
Right now I have a short story that's hopefully going to publish in a magazine here pretty soon. That's Brynja, and she is a Nyx character. So those characters shift into fish. And she weaves into To Be a Fae, which is the finale in the Realm Chronicles. And then, so I'm working on expanding her story and who she is and where she's going to go. I don't know yet if it's going to be like a trilogy or how long it's going to go on. Yeah. So I'm still planning that out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, when you are working on romances, I don't know, it's February is always like Valentine's and love and hearts everywhere, but there's also all the streaming services have glomped all their rom-coms. Do you have rom-coms, movies that are like, I need to watch this to kind of get all the romance juices going? What are your favorites?
Yeah, my husband hates this, but so at Christmas time, I always have to watch The Holiday. That's my favorite romance. And then Valentine's Day, I always have to watch Valentine's Day with, it's the one with Taylor Lautner and Taylor Swift and all the different characters.
Horrible. We watched it again this Valentine's Day, and I had forgotten how cute it was, the two Taylors. Oh.
I know. And just like, there's so many good actors and actresses in that. And it just warms my heart every time. My husband's like, okay, I'll let you watch it. I'll watch it with you.
He secretly likes it.
I think so. The scene with the big teddy bear is just the best.
Yes, and when the TV guy is talking to Taylor Swift and Taylor Lautner trips on the dang it, come on, brain, the hurdles. There we go.
Hurdles, yeah.
He trips on the hurdles, and she tells him, "Walk it off, baby, just walk it off."
I know. And the spitball story, and yeah,
they were great comic relief. Who inspires you when you're working on writing? Typically, we are always reading. Who should be on our to-read list?
Oh, so many romance authors. I've been on an Abby Jimenez kick. I think I've read all of her books now, so I'm patiently waiting. I think I pre-ordered the next one already. I really love that she gets in deep with some issues that people may be facing and that they may see hope and recovery in from that aspect, as well as it's always a good happily ever after romance. So I also love, now my brain is gonna,
I know. I'm sorry.
Emily Henry. I love Emily Henry's romances. And she also has a really good YA book that left me like crying the whole time, A Million Junes. If you haven't read that, run to that book. That was my favorite book of 2025. Wow. But if you're a crier, it's definitely a tearjerker, but it's like magical. It's YA magical realism, coming of age, Romeo, Juliet mashup. It's all these things in one book. So it's an amazing book.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, I loved Beach Read was fantastic. And forget the other one I read, but they were both great. And the audiobooks were fantastic. So if you're listening and you enjoy audiobooks, the Emily Henry, they do a great job on those. The narrators are fantastic. So
yes, I consume all my books in audiobooks almost exclusively. So
yeah, it's so fun because I hesitated on audiobooks for a long time because I thought I don't want someone to read the book to me, but they're not. They're like bringing it to life and they're acting, and it really does amp up the drama of the book quite a bit.
Yes, and I can do it while I'm doing my dishes or my laundry, or it expands my reading time by a trillion, probably.
Are your books in audio? Can people grab audiobooks of them yet?
The fantasy series are. So Kingdom Journals and the Realm Chronicles are all in audiobook, except for the finale, which will come out in July, should be. Yes.
Oh, yay. Okay. Nice. Are you going to get the romance books out in audio eventually, do you think?
I'm looking at it. Yeah. So it's a big investment and I want to support narrators and voice actors. So I don't want to go the AI route. So I have to wait till I have a little bit of investment money for that.
Yeah. So everyone listening, go grab all of the books because all of that can help her to reinvest it into the audiobooks.
Yeah, I feel like I need to jump into this Kickstarter thing that I haven't like quite wrapped my brain around yet.
Yeah, I did the Kickstarter for my first tarot deck, and it was quite the adventure. There is a big learning curve, but totally worth it. And the deck came out, and then I sold it for a mass market deal, and then that came out. So anyway, it can lead you to all kinds of things that you didn't know were going to happen. So I highly recommend giving it a shot. And
I feel like I need a mentor tutor in that area. Like somebody just organize me and tell me what to do here.
I think there are people who teach Kickstarter classes, actually. Yeah. So you should totally do it. People could crowdfund the audiobooks.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I could keep you here all day, but instead I'm going to let you go back and write. But before you go, where can people find you when they get excited? They read the book, what's the best way to contact you?
Right. So my websites are mariajaneromance.com or Tricia Copeland, TRICIACOPELAND, Copeland.com. And if you go there, there should be at the very top home page where you can click on sign up for my newsletter and you could get 2 free short stories, my fantasy and a short story romance. So that's always a fun thing to do. Or if you go to Maria Jane Romance, it just lands you on the romance page.
I love it. I love it. Are you on social media too, so that they can follow you?
I am. Yeah. So it's Tricia Copeland author or author Tricia Copeland on Instagram, Facebook, on TikTok, on YouTube. I have a lot of videos and content. So that's always fun for me, at least when I want to look up my authors that I love.
Yeah. Oh, fun. Well, everyone who's listening, there is a lot to discover. So go check out Maria Jane, Tricia Copeland, and grab those books. Again, the Perfect Office Pact is out now, and the rest of the Perfect series is expanding rapidly, 1 a month. So it's perfect timing for you to jump in and keep the happily ever afters going. So thanks so much for being here today. It was great chatting with you. Thank you so much, Lisa, for having me. I so appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us on Booklights. Be sure to connect with us at www.readersentertainment.com for articles, blogs, videos, and podcasts that matter to readers.